Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction. Today, guys, of course, we are continuing the Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This is Season 1, Episode 5, entitled The Man in the Anthill. Now, based off that title, it's pretty obvious Ant-Man's going to get introduced in this episode. Watch it be a red herring, and it's not about him at all. Kidding. I know it's not. It's pretty obvious it's going to be revolving around Ant-Man. Now, what's really exciting is that this is the last kind of introduction episode, in a sense, for most of these heroes, because the next two episodes are the Breakout Part 1 and 2, which on Disney Plus is how they actually want you to watch the show, I guess, to kind of start. I'm not really sure why they have a production order and it's listed, and then when the shows go on streaming services, they decide to kind of flip it around, or DVD, Blu-ray releases flip around the order of the episodes. I don't understand that concept, but I'm so glad that you guys said, look for the production code, follow that order. That's the way you should watch it. So thank you for that. But so far, of course, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America have been introduced, and I've really enjoyed those episodes. And apparently, with these first little bits of episodes, they were released in these 5-minute or so chunks that then they combined together for TV release or whatever, like a web release or something. So that makes sense why there was a lot of things going on at once within these couple episodes. But I like the fact that we've been introduced to a lot of interesting things besides the main characters that our episodes are based around, essentially, but concepts that I think are going to play out later. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I like the tone they're setting here. Some serious moments, some humor, and overall just kind of setting up this world and setting up where all these heroes and all these characters are potentially going to be when they come together and form the Avengers and to form this team. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see how it all plays out, because I'm guessing, based off how these characters have been introduced, that it's not going to go smoothly. It's not going to go the way that we traditionally think when heroes come together to fight. It's probably not going to go that way. But here we go, guys. Episode 5, The Man in the Anthill. Let's get into now, guys. See what this episode is all about. Let's go.
And what he's got.
It's a lot of shadows. Like a lot of shadows of the leaves and stuff and trees. That's weird. It's kind of weird, but...
Dr. Henry Pym recording. SHIELD found a sample of the rare metal known as vibranium outside the African nation of Wakanda. Supposedly...
And not being subtle, just come on in.
You could have just opened it.
I want all your research.
Sounds like Mark Hamill. I didn't expect Claw. That's interesting.
Gentlemen.
Nobody wants to talk things out anymore.
No.
Disappointing.
Too late.
Let's go.
Wow. Yep. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, he's gonna use this use it as ammo. Yeah. The whole thing. Holy shit. That is scary. Scary as fuck. You got no match, man. Just give up. There you go. No, he's back too, of course. But to say, can you need to keep Claw small like that forever? Can you imagine?
Well, I guess
Nice.
you are okay.
I mean, I should have suspected because she is in the intro,
Oh,
so.
but I do need a favor.
This
Science!
right.
Science!
All business arrangements, the grants. I manage your entire life so you can do this.
What the fuck is that?
Jan?
She's already gone.
I just replicated an ant chromosome. It's amazing.
That's awesome, Hank.
Yeah, great. She's not that interested, I don't think. It's clear she's not that interested.
Did you just shoot at me? That was a mistake. Nobody shoots at Whirlwind.
Whirlwind. The name sounds familiar.
Is that all you've got?
This uniform's in en route to a Possible code blue, over.
Okay, Cold Blue. Code Blue. I remember that from Thor episode. I'm guessing it's Ant-Man?
Let me guess.
He could be a valuable member of society.
The police can't
I don't think so.
It's up to
He
us.
doesn't want to blend giant drinks.
Use of our time.
He's angry.
Time's over.
It was playtime before? See, that's what I always don't get about villains who say that, like, playtime's over. It's like, so it was playtime up to this point, is what you're implying.
Together, we can do more.
With the Avengers.
We can have fun doing it.
Warning, prisoner Canon David. This means
Oh, yeah, he used his powers.
you would like to talk about this.
She would like to talk about this. What?
I can't.
You really shouldn't insult the synthezoids, Mr. Cannon. They're just doing their jobs.
Oh, they're all tiny.
Miss me? Think I can
That was a cool reveal, revealing that the big house is actually a little house.
They need cures, and criminals need rehabilitation, not punishment. If you're just interested in having your own superhuman soldiers, the answer is no.
Look, Ant-Man.
I agreed to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. to help people like Whirlwind, not to do more fighting.
Makes
I'm
sense.
not gonna make weapons for you.
Whirlwind was working for this guy.
Claw.
You saw what he did with the small amount of vibranium he got his hands on?
Yeah.
He's still out there.
He's a mutant.
Double the power on his collar. Then contact the Mutant
Mutant.
Response Division. Let the Martys handle mutants. Who are you?
I am just a simple thinker, though some call me mad. Catastrophe is inevitable.
I agree.
All systems break down. We will be free, and soon.
Wow.
It is your father's duty as king and Black Panther to meet it.
Father, the Black Panther's reign will not end this day.
Let's hope you're right. I mean,
Come back.
he's a giant guy, so I don't know. This might not end well. That was cool. The lightning strike.
Still, I have respected you and your lens.
I knew it. Something's gonna happen. I was like, why is we showing that angle?
This is
I knew it. Yeah, he's one. God. So is he working with, I'm guessing it's Claw,
wanted your respect.
for him to lose, I'm guessing. He's running away. What's he doing?
What of the Black Panther's son? Will he return?
Those
He
who
did leave. It's Claw.
Panther is defeated.
His claw.
And the kings of Wakanda do not ask for him.
There you have it, guys. The Man in the Ant Hill. This was essentially the introduction of Ant-Man and the Wasp. And also, at the very last little segment, Black Panther. Like, out of nowhere. It felt out of nowhere, but it kind of makes more sense when you think about the fact that they introduced Claw in the first segment of the episode. Going after that little piece of vibranium that Ant-Man had, and he was doing research on it, and they were mentioning Nick Fury. And then you find out about the Big House, the fourth location of for supervillains to be, you know, placed in prison and all that kind of stuff. It kind of makes sense you have 4 different prisons, because you put them all in one, that may end up being worse, but regardless, the Big House is, you know, a little house. It's really funny. I like how the naming of it and realizing what it actually is, because, you know, Whirlwind there, which the name sounds familiar, but I'm not really sure if I know of the character before this, but the name just hit me. I'm like, that sounds familiar. But he breaks out. Well, he breaks out of that little thing on his back of his neck, and they found out the back of his armor, and they found out why he was able to use his powers there, because he's he's a mutant, so there's a little bit of difference there. But they, like, all the other villains are sitting there going like, why are you even trying to break out? And then they show how, because giant hand comes down this finger, and it realizes they're all shrunk, and they're all within that prison. I think that was pretty funny. I think that it was an interesting direction to show how Hank, Ant-Man, his approach to everything is rehabilitation and helping these villains and these supervillains to get a second chance, and not so much putting them in prison and keeping them locked away. And then they had Nick Fury kind of give an alternate, response to that, basically showing the two sides of the coin. Because Hank understands that, yes, these villains are bad, these super villains are bad, they have to be locked up, but we should just keep them there. We should, help them, and so they can have normal lives, like, so they can actually redeem themselves, essentially. And Nick Fury is like, I understand, but you got to understand our take too. Like, that whole situation with Ulysses Claw you had earlier, he was working with Whirlwind. He was, they were working together, essentially. And then, of course, we see at the end there, he's also helping again to help the tribe that was banished in Wakanda take control, because T'Challa's dad lost the fight. Now, at first, I'm like, oh, it's T'Challa, like in the Black Panther suit. It's actually his dad. So he lost the fight. And I was quite surprised that he left the way he did, but he has his suit, and it seems like he's just gone. But see, if Claw was not in the episode, it would have felt really weird. It would have felt random if Claw was not in the episode, and all of a sudden, the last segment of the episode just cuts to Wakanda, and we see this stuff. But they found a way to tie it in, so that's fine. So we had Janet. Her whole point is that, Hank, you're kind of, it's boring. Like, you're doing this stuff for science, and you're doing this, but you feel like the authorities should, take care of things. The authorities are not going to be able to stop these villains. The authorities are not going to be able to do this. Like, she wants to do it, and she proved herself by taking out Whirlwind. And I think Hank's going to be the hardest person to get on the team, because throughout this whole episode, I mean, he fought back against Claw and his guys in the beginning, going after the little bit of vibranium. But at the same time, he's like, no, I don't want to fight crime. Like, leave it up to the authorities. Like, helping people is with the science, she's like, well, we can help people doing this. Like, we can have fun. We can, but it's not going to always be fun. It's not always going to be fun fighting villains, but, and I was right, because I pulled up the voice cast here. Mark Hamill did voice Ulysses Claw. And of course, Troy Baker. Troy Baker is pretty much in everything at this point, but he voiced a Whirlwind, Grey Gargoyle, and Quartermain. Now, they had that little thing at the end there. I'm guessing he's called the Mad Thinker, because there's a character called the Mad Thinker in the voices here. In the ending of the third segment, where they highlighted because we've already been introduced to the other three prisons, or the other three giant, secret locations for these prisons, and then we got introduced to the big house, this one, the fourth one, and hinting that, I'm guessing Breakout Part 1 and 2 is hinting at that. That's what I'm guessing. I'm not really sure, but that's my guess. Now, I'm curious how they're going to bring all of these different characters who are in different places right now in their lives, fighting crime, whatever they're doing, how they're all going to come together. I'm guessing it's the whole connection of S.H.I.E.L.D. or some sort of capacity of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what I'm guessing, just because a lot of them have connection. Now, what I'm most interested in about how all of this plays out, how they all come together, is how does Black Widow and the Hawkeye situation come into play? Because that is a major thing that they set up. They've been setting up a lot of interesting storylines, and especially here with this, realizing all four of these prisons, something's going to happen. This Mad Thinker guy or whatever, I guess that's his name, because it kind of matches the way they introduced him talking to Whirlwind. He's figured out 11 different ways to break out. He's figured out 11 different ways, but he hasn't done it. But then they, of course, have that moment of like, all these different supervillains are spread out. It's not going to end well. for everybody else. So they're definitely hinting at the 2-part Breakout, I'm guessing, for sure. But with the whole Black Widow thing, the Hell Hydra stuff, there's a lot of things to look forward to. And I'm really intrigued because they're setting up so much with these episodes. And I think it makes sense because even though with Disney Plus, the way they're ordering it is Breakout Part 1 and Part 2 at the beginning to start off, and then it's kind of backtracking through these episodes. I like how I went production order instead of order Disney Plus edition, essentially, or the way the Disney Plus orders them. Because I don't know how Breakout Part 1 and 2 play out. I don't know, because I haven't seen the show up to that point, up to this point. I've only seen the first 5 episodes. But I feel maybe I would probably feel way different about how they're setting up stuff if I would have watched the Disney Plus order, the way they have it set up, and watch I break Part 1 and 2 and then go back. I think I probably would feel different. So I'm glad that I am keeping up with this direction of production order, so I'm kind of experiencing how they wanted me to experience the show. Because now with seeing all of this, the way they're setting this stuff up, I think it's going to pay off very differently than if I was to watch Part 1 and 2 and then go back and then watch these, singleized episodes and then kind of see how it all came together. I think it's better that I get all the pieces, all the introductions, all of the establishing the characters, hinting and teasing at storylines potentially down the road, and then seeing some of it play out potentially, I'm guessing, in Breakout Part 1 and 2. So exciting. So hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to this episode. Overall, pretty solid episode. Can't wait to see more. Can't wait to see out how they take on Breakout, how they approach and deliver Breakout Part 1 and Part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Talk to you guys soon.